affected because I'm touching them. So when you look at the bottom, that is a what? A circle. But this is area, so it is two dimension. In area, you look at, there are two dimensions. That's why in area you multiply two things. Either it's a base and height, or length and width. Those are the two things you deal with. But with three dimension, you're looking at the whole volume inside. In dimension, you compare curriculum, that for it to be complete, it has got to have the three dimensions. One of the dimension is the formal dimension. Even in life, yeah, this is life. Like we said, curriculum is about what goes in life, what makes us be like we are. So one of the dimensions is the formal dimension. Now the formal dimension in the common language deals with the knowledge, receiving knowledge. So you're talking about what is going into the mind. If you are to teach or you are to educate somebody, he has got to be three-dimensional. One of the dimension, the mind has got to receive knowledge. He has got to know things about the surroundings, about himself, about the people around, about God. The mind has got to get to know about them. And when you get knowledge, you get formed some way, which later on brings into a domain that is translated into a domain called, if another one is to call formal dimension, using a basic language, we'll call it the cognitive domain, which is also about knowledge, concerned about the mind, what goes in the mind, about what goes in my mind, what goes in your mind. So what you see informs you, what goes into your mind, what your senses receive will form a body of knowledge that you possess. Now, some of you have been exposed to some trainings in your schools. There is what they call the three H's. The head, the heart, and the what? And the hands. Now that is getting to kindergarten, still explaining the domains or dimension. So the head, the capital H, that head is about with getting knowledge. Is in terms of domains, it's the cognitive domain. In dimensions, it is the formal dimension. So knowledge is about getting aware or alert about occurrences. We can be here, but we don't know what is happening in our bodies because we don't know. Anyway, if someone starts to tell you about which enzyme is at work now, you can imagine whether the enzyme is in you or something else. So it is, you get aware and become alert. What happens if the cognitive domain is not built up? People become dull and they start to develop the element of fear. When people don't know, the first thing that goes in them is fear. You're always scared, oh, what is going to happen? What? But but when you know, you start to get that strength of confidence. Now, it is very important that people receive knowledge, but you remember when we are looking at the schools, philosophical schools of thoughts, this knowledge has got to be relevant and has also got to be applicable. That is one domain. Now, in dimensional language, it is formal dimension. Basic language, it is the cognitive domain. Both of them are about receiving knowledge, which makes people informed and aware of occurrences around them, between them, and in them. So this builds someone's mind or the head. The head. It's about the head. Okay. Then we look at another dimension, the informal dimension. Informal dimension, uh, we look at that curriculum has got to touch the informal dimension as well. The informal dimension is about receiving values. Values. Now, values are the ones that inform someone of what should be done and what should not be done. You see, where are you taking me? For me, I don't go there. I don't do that. I don't I don't steal people's things, and I please return it. That is not yours. That is a value. So values can be, other people define values as acceptable behavior. But of course, in research, you can even complement, if this is scholarly research, that others define values as not just what is acceptable. Because some people can accept to do certain things which are not right. So something can be acceptable but not right. Now, they extend it to say that values are attributes which inform a person of what is right and what is not right. So later on, when values are treasured, they formulate what we call character, personal character. That if you believe in doing things very fast, everything you do, you want to complete it very fast, even if it is having errors. You want to do it very fast. That's your value. When you find people are doing slower, you want them to be also fast because you believe in being fast. So values are always the ones that guide people's beliefs, norms, and culture. So there we have do's and don'ts. So values are even connecting to the society. You'll find that in Uganda here, the king is very paramount. If you are found abusing a king, even if you're not a Muganda, you are at risk. And I hear, I think, who is that guy? The one they always say is a Munyarwanda, the one who talks a lot on the radio. I think there's Tamale Mirundi, and also there's
Egundi Gashumba.
Gashumba, yes, Gashumba. Gashumba can talk ill about Museveni, anybody, but he says the people you cannot talk ill about is the king, only the king, because I think he knows the consequences. And the one who has ever challenged that maybe is Tamale Mirundi, but he eventually shut down about it. So the king is treasured. Now, if curriculum is to be designed, it has got to respect what the people believe in. For us here, we don't do this. We don't. We are receptive. We have hospitality in us. That's why most of the refugees, I think the highest percentage of them in the world are in Uganda, because through history there has been that domain of affective. If someone is in trouble, don't over ask why are you here. You should be elsewhere. Receive them and they get close to you. So that's the domain. But for you to enter USA as a refugee, they have got to examine too much. Too much. Because their values are what is ours. Don't over encroach on it. Yet here we have more socialistic approaches balanced with the capitalism as values. So even our parents would, even on Christmas, take some food to the neighbor. So we would see, and then they also bring, and they are bringing, we are taking. So what's the difference mathematically? But you also want to taste that food and see. So education has got to actually build learners with values where they know that we have got to respect one another. If the child steps on the other, let the child one say please sorry, because it is a value of even asking for 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 being forgiven, patience, love for one another, justice. All those are values which in education, in this informal dimension, has got to cultivate in the learner. Values such as being organized, orderly. Tetuteekawo ebikopo babiteeka wali. Everything has got to be in its place. You finish eating, you carry the plate to where it should be. You don't eat and leave things there and the maid comes and collects. It is a value. Yeah. Then values should be taught. It's only that they are not embraced in the curriculum. They actually, the people who are designing this education setup have even kept on saying it should be hidden, and intentionally, because the people who write what we teach are not us. They don't want, the biggest challenge they have met are values. They have always wanted to plant their own values, but we have always also wanted to hold tightly on ours. and it has become a very big barrier. You've even heard of the World Bank threatening to withdraw funding because we passed an anti-homosexual bill, and that was with outside its values. So unless you accept homosexuality, then we shall release funding. And now some of the scholars, those who have studied,
As you've said, that should be hidden.
mm,
Like when we are like assemblies, we talk about such things. Last time it happened to me at my school. It was break time. I reached at a school. Na boda boda, I moved out of the boda boda. The children, can you imagine? I'm the head teacher. They just looked at me entering my office. I just wondered myself, during my days, we used it to get bags from teachers like that. Anyway, I blamed myself. Maybe in a number over on parades, we don't talk about it. They just look at you, you get your bag until you enter your office.
yeah, true.
Voila, it challenged
Yeah,
you.
they don't mind.
Hmm?
It is
We are supposed to talk about it.
it is supposed to be
Maybe. Mm. No, of course they can change. Only that teachers we no longer have that time of talking to them.
But other school they
mm-hmm.
but when you read children they
But now they looked at me, I get my bag, I moved into the office, they were just there playing.
And
Remember the blame again the blame goes to the staff, the whole administrators, the whole school. Maybe
yes,
we've never
yes,
talked
please.
about it.
character. A big percentage is involved. That's why they said you're not
Sometimes but the young
Now.
ones can be changed.
Now,
the young ones can be changed. At least when you talk about it, next time you see them.
now, colleagues,
Even I myself, I recall that we've never talked about it.
But
I
if you start
think
talking about it, some again will come
it is
as you see.
it is in that it is in that book somewhere where I think this conclusion where I put a statement that education has the power to deform a person or form a person. Education itself, it can enslave or set people free. There's nothing that education cannot create. And if one was to colonize a community, would not need to carry a gun. Would only need to come and attack education, create information for it, to let people agree to what. Yes. In our communities, if we were born with our parents eating dogs, we would be discussing how dogs are delicious today.
Yes.
That's why
By
they say that it's not in the curriculum, but
by
it's like the child gets it really naturally. Like right now, when you go to various nursery schools and you see the violence in those children, the child can see anything happens to you, and then the child will come and say, "Sorry, teacher, sorry." Yet she's not the one who did it. Eh? So for me, I've seen it in our school, and like values, if you want to rate it in a school, different schools have their different values they are putting in those children. The other school, when you reach like this, you see how children live, and others they don't have those values. It depends on the kind of administration. Others they address it to the learners, others they don't.
The
School culture.
you
They
know
learn it from there.
the reason why you are struggling to have it an uniform. It is because the curriculum has not embraced it and does not plan for it at all. Expects that the community, if anybody will do it.
And then for them,
Those,
they knew that because some of those values they may not be good to us. When they impose, we shall not accept it. Then
uh-huh.
it will bring issues. You get.
And
So now they're trying to bring it in a tiptoe way. Now,
mm,
like this thing of anti-gay what? Now, when you look at it, yeah.
mm,
Today I was looking at a certain woman who said that she's a man because of those things of gay, lesbian, what. And she was being defeated when they were asking her, "What is your name? What is your tribe?" She was, "I'm not going to tell you what," because it has no value.
yes,
Yes, she
yes.
has realized that if she's to disclose the name of her parents, her tribe, where she comes from, it
Mm,
value the tribe
mm,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
parents
yeah.
as well. So
Mm,
you see that most of these things that they bring, most of the values of the Western culture, it's against our tradition. Our own values. That's why you don't get it in the culture.
and you see where they are beating you is
And on top of
one
that, different tribes have got different values. For example, the way we are doing things here in Uganda, you may find when you go to Ankole, they are doing it differently.
yes,
This business of kneeling down, telling in the curriculum, telling them to kneel down. The Banyankole, they don't kneel down.
but you have the Luganda language on the
Also,
curriculum,
can make it according to the region.
which is for Uganda,
You can make
and
most of our traditional things.
it doesn't apply to
It
the
is okay.
to the Nilotics somewhere, the Northerners.
It's very
It
good.
is not about differences. It is about considering it. When you consider it, you will find a way of of programming it. Maybe those in Uganda, when it comes to that area, they will teach this. Those in the north, when it comes to some area, they will teach
it differently.
differently.
That's why now when they come, like the Banyankole, when they come here, they learn.
They learn from here.
And they do it perfectly.
Yeah.
So curriculum is meant to, in curriculum design, we should respect
The values and plan for them. By getting this information is never hard. For example, there are some values which cannot be promoted, especially when it comes to measurement of quality of what we call values, such as um, the Bariwaba says, those people who eat people. Mm? Such values, such values which affect
I think
human.
if it's to appear in a curriculum, they should denounce this value, the thing which has no value.
And so female mutilation has also been, yes,
But
so,
there's some other
just
aspects
just
why
nobody.
if you've watched the news of yesterday, it was there. Which one? A woman activist yesterday, she was doing interview about that. They still do, but then now they have their crews in the community. When they hear, they have to report. When you hear, and they're secret.
Mm,
separately. Those who are supposed to separate.
Right now it's secret because when they get you, you'll be arrested. The whole areas they're doing it far away from. Yesterday they arrested
so some of
rural areas. Even there was a woman. She was very old last time in the news. She was saying they could come for it. They could come for it. Yes. And they do it in the dark, very late in the night. So when they got her and she was interrogated,
they are resisting.
yeah, it's there.
So the values must be of value themselves anyway.
Of importance.
Of importance, maybe.
Let's use that one.
Of
Of
importance.
importance.
But to them it is of
For them it
importance.
is of importance. They know why they do it. They have their reasons.
So,
And a genuine one. You will not change.
so these values has got to be blended in the curriculum. The curriculum is never complete without them. And by checking on those values, you need to observe behavior and conclude that they have been learned. By there should be also assessment tools assessing values that people treasure, because the quality of what we do is fully governed by values. If you find a teacher who's believing that I'm supposed to teach because I want money only, he will teach you even if he's not ready for a lesson, and you are ready to pay. Will come and tell you anything.
After all, at the end of the month, she will be paid.
Yes. So that in the language of domain, we call that. Do you really realize that the meaning of music, even their songs themselves, is diluted? Yes. Mm. Says the music. So there.
And what are you taking out?
Now, what's the meaning of
Music
such a
should
song?
have values and should be
It's a sound. Now,
The affective domain is affected. So long as the rhythm is there, people are not after
So-
the word. The word.
Listen to a song and you really
Yeah.
yeah.
People are
mm,
after the rhythm,
mm.
not the words.
Now, those are people growing up in a curriculum, giving them knowledge, no values. And what is happening to the quality of their outputs? Very, very vague.
So by talk about assessment tools that we use to assess values.
And if you are to assess,
Observing behaviors.
yes, to observe behavior. She saw. She was carrying heavy loads. Children were not reacting. We are not actually doing anything.
Yesterday, I went in a certain town of a tailor.
Mm.
The lady is a tailor. There was one old girl like her, that madam.
Mm.
She came from the bedroom when I had been invited to sit. She did not greet me. She told me they were and then she got out. Then I waited to greet me. She didn't greet me. Then she came and passed by me, went in the room, went to the other side, like asking me that, Madam, how can I help? Mommy is not yet here. Natudde nempiranga n'obutima obumeze an old girl there at home say yebaleko nnyabo without saying it was
In a home.
paka omukyala bwe yakomyewo owawaka the mother tusanyuse kulaba nnyabo
Kale for what she does.
But why doesn't she do it to her daughter? You just imagine that you were a man, you had admired that woman. Can you marry her? You cannot.
Even
Kati kirabika ne waka tebiriiyo ebintu ebyo. Tebiriiyo.
and your son will meet her.
That is very bad.
Yes, your son will but meet can her. You recommend that daughter, however beautiful?
No.
What if the love is there? What are you going to do? What? That is why you say the Nazareth here and
So even yes.
Maybe I can compare curriculum, SPE curriculum, and accredited Christian education and the current
schools that they are ignored. They are taught in those schools and they give them opportunity.
Mm.
After lunch, then the values and any co-curricular activity,
Mm.
which is said in the national curriculum.
Mm.
Most of them given this one time.
Mm.
So there is a difference, even there's a difference from an international school, a child from an international school, and also the national, because
Mm.
of that activity. Yes, they do very strict, very they do. They give time for the child to like to practice what he or she has learned. You have to they make sure you look at the values the school and the surroundings.
Mm.
There's any difference
Okay.
currently because of this have been involved
Mm.
and I can appreciate
Okay. So,
until we change ours because ours is the more happy. So we even when it's not going to help you or to give time to the students or the teachers and tell them these are the values that we use. Because in our era they used to have that kind of class time and they used to
Senior,
talk
we used
about
to have
it.
senior woman teachers these days.
I
And that's why
Eh.
this is an
Yeah, yeah, but they are not performing. You have them.
I I refuse.
Like you complete a full term, you've not seen the senior woman talking to the girls like that. And the full year has ended.
It gets back to the head teachers because you have to empower them.
Yeah.
Some
But
head
do you
teachers,
have the
if
work?
you start
Do you
doing
draw
it,
the work
they feel like
plan?
you want to take away
Even if you put it there, people are not self-driven. People are not
This.
committed.
So
Them
so
they are
now
If you are in a lesson
you're
in a class, talk about it. Does it you are in a lesson in class, why don't you talk about it?
mm, so
Within
you
the lesson.
If even you entered, nobody welcomed you. You just started, no greeting. Have you
mm,
seen? That is the lesson now.
I
so in the
followed my
language
teachers. What is this?
in the
Are
lang
we teaching? What are we
in the language of domain, it is called the affective domain. Affective, getting touched. Mm. Affective, you have an attachment to someone else, or feeling like what you desire, else someone else also desires it. Now it is about the heart. In terms of the H's, the other one head, heart. It's about the heart. I I cannot measure the usefulness of writing. Writing something that has been written. What this Madam Madam Juliet was emphasizing that they you see those people, they don't consider our values. Those people who write. That's why this our education has more writings of which are not ours. Why? Because writing has not been so embraced in between us. I would tell you, I don't even agree with the way we teach research and the way we teach you people. We are always telling you so and so said, quoting scholars all around the world and talking and getting little from you, the people, and your surrounding. So we end up adopting what others are saying and valuing less. When I'm quoting scholars to just have to pass the university standards and grades, I don't usually say Kemirembe said. You put Catherine, you put Jones,
Even this current hustler, don't you see now they've started realizing now, like in secondary, why would you put agriculture in geography and there is agriculture itself? Why would you put something like Tennessee Valley? Which value does it have in Uganda?
Yes.
We have so many forests here, but you're talking about British Columbia,
Uh-huh.
and you will die without even seeing that British Columbia. So it's good that at least they have started dreaming that this curriculum is more of dreams and
People like you, that's where that is your part now. You have a part to play. Yeah. Because if we leave it to them, those were their days.
Please do not send it to me only. Even you people.
We.
Yes.
But are we given chances?
You write up a material and trade it to other people. You don't need to wait for who knows you. They will know you by that thing you have done. So document it, do it. There are two things: document it, do it. They will easily fight the action, but something that has been written is hard to fight. Let me tell you, if they fight you and maybe they by one way you've been eliminated, what is written will show up its results after 70 years. Someone else will read it and take action about it, and may at that time may not even be faced or conflicts. Those people are planting here values by writing, and nowadays they have gone into even acting. Others are designing clothes. You see these clothes that have holes, like whatever. They are trading them, trading a certain heart of remove some values, modesty. Banange wano twewumbako we tuba tutudde naye attacking it, by the end of the day you keep the population can shift. But if something is written, those children will find it. They may not find you, but they will find something written. The word author comes from the word authority. What is written has more authority. I'm telling you, I wrote a book about computer studies, computer literacy, and specifically about animation. A, a, a student from senior 6 came to study it at an institute where I was the teacher. And then I had made a mistake. In this book, the student came and I started teaching. He said, "Teacher, that's wrong. That is not true. You see here, open them, open the back until we reach. You see here, they are saying, they are saying." And then I first paused and he explained it to me. And I said, yes, here, this is a mistake. First open here, then read my name. This is my name. It is me who wrote there. I wrote that mistake, forgive me. I'm going to adjust it. but it should be like this. I was fighting with the authority. So if values are not, there will be a time when they will be diluted.
So we should be
So children will not even have any reference that this thing was done this way. That's how metal smelting of Uganda, burning iron ore into iron to make axes and making knives, and
these
even
spears.
these bars, those doors are made of iron. Iron sheets. Those people would, we would be producing them, but they were not documented how which process they used to follow. So if when people brought their education, that one was phased out. Today, if you are to find a Muganda who can metal smelt, I think it's by chance, or even I could conclude that they are not there.
They are no longer there.
So those masengeres we hear, they are actually the ore, the ores which are left over from smelted iron. So because they were not documented and like,
And they died.
they had
They died in death.
to phase out.
They were wasted.
And now I think some other people now, the Indians, the Japanese, who are setting up roofings, those factories producing. And where they get them in, no one knows. But education has equations of iron, converting iron ore to iron by heating. So you write equations on the board, but it's not done. Actions are not taken. Now there is a dimension called the non-formal dimension. Non-formal dimension is about instilling skills into the lives of children and people. Now, a skill is a tactic. The word skill, another word for it is technique. Yes, a technique. What is a technique? Is a process which, when is followed using resources available with the person's involvement, can produce a certain item or product, and can also produce a certain service. There are two things that come out of skills: a product and a service. So what we see, all these are in soft forms. Knowledge is soft, values are soft, and skills are also soft. So people say they are soft skills. Are they hard skills? All these are inside the person, and they are there in soft form. So from them comes products which are tangible, and also services which are intangible. Now, in the language of domains, the non-formal dimension, which dissipates or contributes what we call skills, in domain language, it is called the psychomotor. Psychomotor. Now, it happens that if I want you to describe the domains of curriculum, you would explain to me that there are three domains of curriculum: the cognitive, the affective, and psychomotor. Now, let me break down each of the domains. The cognitive domain. This is about receiving or giving knowledge, which builds on people's yes, minds or intellectual development, and in other words, it's about the head. Mm. That's how you can keep on constructing.
Then
So knowledge is, you can expound it. It comes in terms of principles, laws, definitions of things, so that people get to be aware. So those are the three dimensions, and those are the three domains. And as I think you know that we are basically dealing with knowledge, values, skills. The meaning of education has always been, education is a process of acquiring trans
imparting
uh-huh, uh-huh,
knowledge, skills,
and values. So that's why we are always saying that when you read that book on top there, that education is, you cannot have education without curriculum. Yes. So curriculum is education.
curriculum equals to education for me.
Mm.
Without education,
There's a student who has sent me a question about curriculum equals a meal. Please, I've read your book. What is curriculum equals a meal? What should I do? Then I said, the edition that I released does not have that section. I said, but this is your coursework. Why are you prompting me to answer your coursework? So,
excuse me.
hmm?
Cognitive, you said.
There is a,
Got several questions about it.
uh, equals.
Akalisoma equals kwa
Okay.
Then about the domain, here is a question.